Okay, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Demystifying Indicators with Mike. Again, if you're new to this series, you can go back on the channel or there'll be playlists for it. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to break down all of the indicators and then soon to be chart patterns and all of the other stuff out there that people will sometimes try to trade with without fully understanding exactly what they're doing and the reason for it and what the indicator is actually saying. So, my point here is just to demystify this to say this is what this indicator is telling you. There is no magic here, right? There is no indicator that you're just going to do this and do this and do this and make money. Everything has to be part of a trading plan. So the more you know of what each indicator is telling you, the more you can incorporate that into a trading plan that makes sense. So today we're going to start off with the Bollinger Bands. And this is a very common one. You can find this one anywhere. And the math is kind of complicated, but I'm going to try to break it down as quickly and as much as I can. So we've got 20 period SMA, right? Just 20 periods, the last closing price. And then we look at how much that stock is moved in that period. So what's the standard deviation of how much that stock's moving? So what's the variance of the stock? Is it incredibly volatile at the time? Is it incredibly boring at the time? Is it not moving very much? And then we plot that out on this old normal distribution curve that you probably remember from high school. And basically, we just say that in things that are normally distributed, essentially it means that 95% of the time, things will exist between two standard deviations. And that's what the bands are showing you is just two standard deviations from a 20 period MA. And that's it. So a lot of people look at that as they say, okay, so if the stock sells under the lower band, then that's an incredibly rare move and it is oversold. Therefore, I should buy it and it will move up. The problem with that is that if we look here, the market is not normally distributed. It has fat tails. Essentially, that just means that basically the market moves further and it moves longer than it should if it was normally distributed. So then taking something that is normally distributed and applying to that doesn't really fit super well. And that's why this indicator it was not designed to be and is not something that says if it's below the band buy it, if it's above the band sell it. That's not the point of it. It's not even how John Bollinger designed it to be. It is to basically paint a picture of you of how much there is a standard deviation with price. So how much is this price moving around this moving average? And there's some things that you can glean from that. So if we go into this chart here, essentially you can get some kind of better picture of what this is trying to tell you. When the stock is getting tight and it's not moving very much, it's not deviating around that moving average very much, you get this tightening of the band. And one thing that we know is mean reverting is volatility. So if a stock is getting incredibly tight when it comes to volatility, at some point there's going to be some sort of volatility expansion. And if volatility is getting really, really wide, at some point there is going to be volatility contraction. So, a way that you could use the band is to visualize or quantify standard deviation or quantify that move. You can use this and say, okay, I am only going to look at stocks that are this tight or this wide and use that Bollinger Band as a way to quantify that. You can also take a look at it and say, okay, visually, this thing is way tighter than it has been in the past. Maybe that will expand out or vice versa. So, again, as always, I hope you guys like this. The more you share it around, the more you like the video, the more you comment below, the more it will tell me that you guys are interested in this. If you want more of this content, you can always come down to my website, which is the link in the description below, and come check that out. And again, as always, thank you guys for coming and trade safe out there.